how can we support our gut biome? There are so many ways we can do that, and what you do should work for you given your food culture, medical history, and food sensitivities. I can only share ideas about what I like to eat and also foods that I enjoy, but the idea behind these videos is for you to gain some foundational knowledge and possibly inspiration so that you can then apply them in a way that feels realistic to you. Okay, so on a personal level, I love fermented veggies, and that is probably my top one way to eat vegetables. In the winter, I tend to roast vegetables more often, but I never really stop eating fermented veggies like kimchi, sauerkraut, and fermented beets and carrots, which I make at least twice a month. Also, I am calling it kimchi inspired because I am definitely skipping some steps and I am not following the traditional kimchi making method. I'll post a video showing you how I prepare it. It's really simple. And I also prefer fermented veggies because of the lactofermentation benefits. So in other words, when you ferment vegetables or dairy products, you're using bacterial activity that is eating saccharides, sugars, and fibers and turning those into lactic acid. And that process helps keep bad bacteria to a minimum and creates a desirable environment for the types of bacteria that you want in your gut. By the way, this reminds me of a comment that I read on another creator's page asking them if pickling had the same beneficial effects, and the answer is no. Pickling is not the same as fermenting. There is a big difference. Pickling requires vinegar, which has a very, very low pH and disables bacterial growth, and that's how the food is preserved for a long time. But fermented food is teeming with life. You can actually see bubbles coming out of it when it's ready. My number 2 preferred way of getting the right types of prebiotics in my diet is, and note I said prebiotics. I love lentils in all forms. I love that you can make soup or stews or mix them with other veggies to give them a nice soupy consistency, and I'm always changing it, but yeah, lentils, that's just, I can't live without them. I also like oatmeal, especially in the winter when I crave more comfort foods. Making a bowl of yogurt, oatmeal, and banana slices checks all the boxes for me. I also like that you can add different spices and give it different flavors and consistency. So you can also add extra fiber and extra types of fiber from flax seeds or hemp seeds for an extra crunchy goodness, and also extra essential fatty acids. As far as fruit, I would say eat whatever is in season and eat whatever you enjoy the most. You can't really go wrong. You'll get pectin, an insoluble fiber, which is the bacteria that our gut loves. So all the foods I've talked about have a good mix of all fiber types, and I wouldn't fixate on one over the other. You can find your own favorite combinations based on where you live, what foods are available to you, or what's in season, and also what your food prep skill is. And speaking of food prep skills, I would like to encourage you at least to start incorporating more fermented foods like yogurt, kimchi, or sauerkraut. There's also kefir, kvass, kombucha, tempeh, miso. These are all examples of foods we should be eating regularly because we want to promote bacterial diversity by introducing new strains and keeping things in balance. Also, I realized I spent a lot of time talking about fiber and the microbiome, but I haven't really covered the difference between prebiotics and probiotics. In a nutshell, prebiotics are the stuff that probiotics feed off. Probiotics are bacterial strains that can populate the gut and help create a balanced gut biome. Probiotics are living organisms and their ecosystem. Prebiotics and probiotics are not the same thing. One feeds the other, and this is important when looking at the ingredient lists of different foods and also supplements. So know that inulin, which we talked about earlier, is a natural soluble fiber which is widely used by the food industry as a prebiotic, sugar replacer, fat replacer, and texture modifier. It is found in many plants. One of them is chicory root, and it is commonly used in things like yogurt or dairy-based desserts, baked goods, and cereals. Inulin enhances fiber content, which is why you might see claims such as high in fiber in products that have inulin. Inulin, psyllium, polydextrose, and polyols. These are all manufactured functional fibers, some of which are extracted and modified from natural plants. Also, these products might make you gassy, so just don't say I didn't tell you. And probiotics, on the other hand, they're strains of live microorganisms, most commonly bacteria, and they are found in the foods that I mentioned before, especially yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, kimchi, but they can also be taken as supplements. Probiotics can help to restore or maintain a balanced gut microbiome, and the strains found in different foods and supplements can be specialized by biological function. So, for example, there's one strain called Lactobacillus rhamnosus, which has been proven effective in interfering with the growth of Candida yeast, which can cause yeast infections and stuff like that, which is not great. Or another example is Saccharomyces boulardii, which is a probiotic yeast that can help with digestive issues and is often used to restore balance after antibiotic treatment. The other thing I want to mention briefly is the use of probiotics for mental health support, which has been a bit of a hot topic in nutrition science in recent years. Psychiatric researchers are looking into the use of psychobiotics for the treatment of mood disorders. Found was that psychobiotics are a type of probiotic, mainly lactobacillus and bifidobacterium, that can make brain affecting substances like GABA, as we've been talking about, and just the fact that they are able to produce serotonin, I think shows promising results. The last thing I want to say as this video comes to an end is that I hope you're starting to see how our body is really one system. And the more I've come to understand about the linkages between the systems, the more admiration I have for the human body. I'm really interested in its ability to regulate itself and strive for homeostasis or balance. I think it is undeniable that everything is connected, and what we call health is really just a manifestation of all things working in balance. So this is the end of this mini series on the gut-brain axis. I hope you enjoyed learning about the gut microbiome and the deep interconnections with our brain health and emotional regulation. I'll see you on the next one.